Your email list is not going to sell out your offer. And I know that might be frustrating to hear, especially when you have spent so much time building the list, writing good emails, showing up consistently, and doing everything that you were told to do. You've heard it 1,000 times. Your email list is something you own. Build your list. And yes, that is 1,000% true. But if email alone could carry the full weight of trust and conversion in this market, a whole lot of us would be seeing a lot better results right now and be multi-millionaires. Email alone is killing your sales conversions in 2026. Hey, welcome back to the Kingdom Business Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Kristen Durante, a Kingdom business strategist, and I help bold Kingdom women build profitable, sustainable businesses by God's design without compromising their faith, their values, or being a slave to social media. Through the Kingdom lens on Substack, I help women build a business and marketing ecosystem rooted in trust, authority, and real relationships. Not just more content for content's sake. I teach Substack as a powerful vehicle in that ecosystem. But more than that, I help women build the actual business behind the message, the positioning, the offers, the sales rhythm, and strategy, so that they can create trust, traction, and sales in a way that is aligned, sustainable, and strong. Substack is the vehicle. Your business by God's design is the destination. I'm going to start today with a truth that most people in the industry are not saying. Your email list is not going to sell out your offer. I've been having this conversation with multiple clients over the past few weeks, so I thought it was time to bring it to the microphone, because what I keep seeing and hearing are these brilliant, amazing Kingdom women in business, women with real visions, real wisdom, real expertise, and a real heavenly solution to a problem the Lord has called them to solve, just sitting on email lists they've worked hard to build, sending good emails, but hearing little to nothing back. No replies, no momentum, no consistent sales. And then they start to wonder, is it the copy that's the problem? Maybe my offer's the problem. Maybe it's my funnel, my niche. And sometimes, yes, those things do need refinement, but most of the time that's not the deeper issue. The deeper issue is this: email was never meant to do all the heavy lifting of building trust on its own. Let me paint you a picture of the market we're operating in, especially if you haven't been with me over in Substack. The past week, we started the Be a Human First series, and I talked about how the market was shifting. And the podcast from last week, I talked about the most powerful business advantage in 2026 and how it has nothing to do with AI. So go back and listen to the Be a Human First series that started last week over in Substack. The podcast is over there, and you can listen to the live session that I did on how to be a human first and how to turn every subscriber into a soul that you actually serve. But just in case you're new and you weren't with me last week, let me paint you a picture of the market we're operating in right now, because this is an important context. We're not just in a noisy market. We are in a trust vacuum. There is zero trust right now. People are tired. They've been sold to from every angle. They've been marketed to over and over and over again. They have bought into things that overpromised and underdelivered. They have read these polished emails. They've watched these perfect webinars. They've seen these beautiful sales pages, and they still end up disappointed. And on top of that, we're living in a time where content is easier than ever to produce because of AI, which means your people are surrounded by more words, more emails, more content than they can possibly even consume. And they can't even tell anymore what's real or what's AI generated. I'm sure you can relate to what I'm saying right now. Even we ourselves are starving for what's real and human connection. So if we are, that means our ideal clients are as well. And experts are now saying that it takes anywhere between 40 to 60 touch points to get a sale. And do you know why? It's not because your email is bad. It's because your people are no longer looking for more information. They're looking for evidence. They're waiting to be activated. They're waiting for a sign that there is a real human with a real heart that stands for something real, has real discernment on the other side of that offer and on the other side of that email. AI has poisoned the well. It has made content so perfect, so automated, that your audience has developed a sixth sense for the bot. And when they get their 10th email template that sounds like everyone else, when they see another 5 tips for success email, they don't see value. They see a sequence. And the moment they start to wonder whether you're a real person on the other side of that screen, you've already lost the sale. In 2026, hiding behind a keyboard and expecting your email to do the work for you means you are being invisible. Here's what I want you to understand about email as a tool, because I don't want you to throw out the tool. It's a good tool. I want you to understand what it's actually designed to do in this market today. Email is a reach tool, a broadcast tool. It's that one-to-many tool. But we are moving into the relationship-based marketing era. I talked about that last week. Email is an activation tool, an invitation tool. It can absolutely be a nurture tool as well. It opens the door, but email alone in a market with this high level of skepticism and this level of noise is not what's going to close the trust gap that stands between your audience and your offer. People are no longer asking, what are you selling? They're asking, can I trust you? Who is this person on the other side of this email? Is this someone that I could genuinely have a relationship with? Is this someone that I even want to have a relationship with? What is her values, her morals, her beliefs? That is why you can be sending good emails and still feel like nothing is moving. Reach is easy now, but it's your presence and being a human first that carries the weight. Oh my goodness, this is an amazing time for Kingdom Women entrepreneurs. You mean who God created you to be, a human being, is the thing that carries the weight? Yes, and it always has. This is exactly where so many amazing Kingdom women in business are getting stuck. They're putting too much pressure on the wrong piece of the business strategy. And when you put that much pressure on email to do a job it was never designed to do by itself, you're going to end up getting discouraged, exhausted, and questioning your calling. Like, Lord, did I even hear you right? Am I cut out for this thing? And it's not your fault. We moved into a time of faceless marketing. When I saw that faceless marketing, I'm like, that's not going to work. You can't market without a face. People need to see you, know you, hear you, like you, trust you. And we're seeing the repercussions of that today. Many of you think that you can just post and write an email and then you have a sale. It's not working that way in this market today. And let me tell you something. When we're putting too much pressure on the wrong piece of the strategy becomes a missing piece. That's all. And there's an easy solution. And it's a solution that I teach my clients. And when they actually implement this, they have a sale. They have people that join their beta founding member program. And it doesn't need to take months and months for this to actually decrease the buying decision and build trust with your people. As long as you start to activate them. And that's the solution. Something I call activation events. That is the missing piece. And what I want to be really clear about is I'm not talking about another 90-minute perfect webinar with 45 slides and a fake countdown timer. I'm not talking about a huge 5-day launch. I'm not talking about just a spike after a 5-day launch and then nothing. An activation event is a repeatable, low pressure, 60 minutes or less live session where you show up and solve one micro problem for your people and you give them one micro transformation, not your full blown 1000% transformation, one specific, timely micro problem that your ideal client is dealing with right now, the thing that woke them up at 2 a.m. this morning. And in doing that, you prove something that no email sequence can prove, that you are the real anointed guide and mentor that they've been looking for. Every single time I hosted one of these in 2025, I made sales in my business. Every single time. Because what happens is your lurkers, the people that have been watching you from the sidelines, who are already leaning in, who are closer to a decision than you even realize, you activate them. They raise their hand and say, wait, that's me. I'm struggling with that. And I want her help. And once they raise their hand, that is where the real relationship begins. That is where the conversation starts. And in 2026, conversations are the only way to close high-ticket deals. Being a human first is not a soft strategy. It is the strategy. And I would also dare to say that conversations are the only way that you are going to be closing any type of sale in 2026. And when you combine the reach of your email list with the activation of a live event, you collapse a 6-month sales cycle in 60 minutes or less. That is what I mean when I say activation events don't just spike sales, they activate your people. That is what we have been building toward over on Substack all week. Last week, I shared the episode right before this one, the most powerful business advantage you have in 2026, and it has nothing to do with AI. So if you haven't listened to that yet, go back and start there. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm going live on Substack, and I'm going to show you what exactly this looks like in action. I'm going to walk you through how to find the real humans in your audience, the ones who are watching, leaning in, and are closer to a decision than you think. I'm going to give you a simple live script that you can use to start creating the kind of interactions that move people out of passive consumption and into a real response. Then on Friday, inside the Kingdom Lens paid subscription on Substack, I'm going deeper and teaching the full activation event framework, exactly how to build and host these sessions so that they create trust, activate your people, and lead to sales without feeling salesy, pushed, or forced. If you have been doing all the right things, sending the emails, showing up consistently, but you have not been getting live in front of your people to activate them, this episode and tomorrow's live on Substack is for you. Head to the show notes, click the link to my Substack, and make sure that you are subscribed to the Kingdom Lens so you don't miss it. I would love to have you there. It's time to stop relying on email to do a job it can't do by itself. It's time to start being a human first and activating your people. You have a business the Lord gave you. You have a heavenly solution He's asking you to bring down, and your people are waiting for you to show up and do the thing. I'll see you tomorrow. Be blessed.